But I think that our biggest problem now in this country is that we have failed to look at the issues of transgender people beyond the issues of sexual orientation.
People, when they see us, because we are feminine, we are white, they are like, those people are gay. We are not gay. We are not.
Traditionally or culturally, most people do not actually understand the concept of a transgender person, and they actually usually associate it with homosexuality. So they actually don't differentiate between sexual orientation and the issue of gender identity. They confuse it a lot.
I basically believe being trans in Uganda is like hell.
You can only change your sex, one, if you're a child below 18 years, and if you were born intersex. So if you're a person that is above 18 years, we do not know, the law is silent about that. So we don't know what happens to people that are above 18 years, whether they're intersex or not. But also for transgender persons, it does not, because there is an assumption that intersex persons have these surgeries out of necessity, but transgender persons do them out of choice.
As an organization, we handle quite a number of cases that relate to change of name, is to enable transgender persons have names that help them identify better with, that help them feel more comfortable with the gender that they identify with or the sex that they identify with. And we've also actually handled a case where a transgender woman who had undergone a surgical operation actually had her passport changed to actually reflect the female sex which she had newly acquired after undergoing the surgical operation. But that was one of very many other cases.
In a country where you're born, you're a citizen, there's no reason why any human being should be treated in the way that some of the state agents in this country treat transgender people. We can't keep hiding, right? Because we are saying that we are here as trans people, this is who we are. And we're not asking for permission to exist, right? We are not apologizing for existing, we are not begging to exist, we are asserting our right to exist as human beings. It's not an offense for you to identify the way that you identify. If you look at the Rolling Stone case, which we won against the magazine, which was outing people, if you look at a bunch of other cases, the Victor Mukasa case as well, they all say that being LGBT is not a criminal offense. One of the issues that transgender people usually face is that when they come into themselves and realize that, I'm a man living in this body that doesn't fit how I feel inside, or I'm a woman living in a body that doesn't fit how I feel inside, the first thing is usually, how do you change your official documents to reflect what it is that you feel? So, and that's another issue, because of the conflation of transgender people with LGBT people. I feel like the fear has now also come to trans people, and yet in practice, really, there is no reason why anybody should be turned away. Anybody who is trans should be turned away from fixing their legal documents. So I think my advice to any transgender person who would be trying to change their names or identifiers on their documents is, one, consult a lawyer.
I would like to change my documents from my certificates, my travel documents, but I cannot. I mean, I've been to South Africa. It's the country I've seen whereby trans persons, they're free. They can even get married, But I remember one day I was traveling and I was stopped at the airport because I was wearing makeup and a unisex shirt. And actually, I made that shirt that night. I was like, I wanted something free. I made some shirt and I put it on. But this guy refused me to travel. Actually, my flight left. Mr. Here in my passport, and I was like, Mr. So-and-so, I mean, we don't think you're the person here. You look different. I had to go and wash off the makeup. It's like, no, you look different still. I was like, a week before I traveled, and I told this person, this is me. I've been using this passport for so long. Even last week I traveled. No. And some guy came. Some guy talked to me. Was like, can you change your dress code after the flight had left? But I think when people are making laws, they should make more research before they make laws. I think they should consult from different entities, NGOs, before they make laws.
If your name is Julius, you can't be female. And then if you're not female and you're male, there are very many questions you have to answer that are difficult questions. So some of them, they'll go and legally change their names, but their legal documents will remain in the other names. So us as people, when they're signing on documents, they're going to use their legal names that they changed to, but documents like a passport, they leave them in those names. Or when they get to instances where they feel like, I have to use the names that are on my ID, then they'll go ahead and use the names on their ID instead of their legal name.
It's not illegal to be a lesbian, a gay man, a bisexual person, or a transgender person in Uganda. It's not illegal. What's illegal, what's criminalized in our Penal Code Act is carnal knowledge against the order of nature, which includes a lot of things. First of all, for me, the thing that excites me the most about the transgender organizing that's happening now is visibility. I think that visibility is extremely important. Just the fact that we are now having the conversation about the differences between sexual orientation and gender identity, for me, is extremely important. There is no movement in this world that has ever succeeded by begging, by telling people, please treat me better. Sometimes you just have to grab what it is that we want, right? And I think that trans people are now doing that. They're saying, we are tired of waiting, now we are here and we are demanding. And for me, I think that as long as that spirit continues, there's nothing that can hold us back.
The government needs to understand that we are here and we are not going anywhere. We have no intention of not being Ugandans, But what does it mean to be a Ugandan? I think there's a lot missing in terms of recognizing that people are here, trans and intersex people are here. They've been here for a long time. But the second point is to listen when we present these reports and information to them to say, these are the issues. We need government. We need a government that's responsive. That's what we need. We need the police to care about us as Ugandans, not as special citizens. We are Ugandans. So we want you to respond. Go out and investigate when we tell you we've been violated, right? For the judiciary, we want you to listen, not with a biased ear or homophobia or transphobia. We want you to actually see us as human beings and ask yourself, if any other Ugandan walked in here and said that we have been violated, what would the courts do? We want you to see us as Ugandans and address us and provide response. Protect us also. When we come running to you, we're coming to you because it's a last resort.
I think as service providers, as civil society, as different actors in the fight for rights of transgender persons, we have to identify the different duty bearers and find a way of engaging them. So if you're working in health and you think the Ministry of Health and the Uganda AIDS Commission need to understand transgender issues, then talk to them, engage them, tell them, what, these people are at risk. They need these kinds of services. If like HIRAF, we're a legal aid service provider, we're a human rights advocacy organization, and we think that police officers need to understand these issues because they interface with them most, then engage them. Go to police. Don't go with this combat style of, I'm going to fight you while you're arresting transgender persons, because like I say, these are complex issues that we have to have a dialogue on. Everyone needs to understand them. A police officer who grew up from our context from which we grew up, they don't understand a person born as a male saying, I'm a woman. It doesn't make sense.
I think for me, the first point to note is that we live in an extremely homophobic and transphobic society. I don't think that any Ugandan can deny that. So my message to transgender Ugandans would be a luta continua. The struggle continues. Let's do this thing.
Mama, oli muwanguzi.